People ask why I do this. Why insurance? Why planning? Why I went out and started my own firm instead of plugging into a big shop? The honest answer isn't a business plan. It's two stories, one about my own family and one about the family I married into. Neither one is comfortable, but together, they're the whole reason Legacy Financial Solutions exists. I'm Micah Brown, Petoskey, Michigan. Let me tell you where this came from. Before the stories, you need to understand what bothered me about the industry, because that's the soil of all this grew in. Here's the thing nobody says out loud. Most of this business, I mean both sides, the insurance side and the investment advising side, steers by one thing: what pays a person across the table the most. Now, I want to be fair here. These are mostly good people. They're not villains. It's the structure. If it's the only tool you sell is a hammer, every problem you see is a nail. If the only thing you offer is one product, then somehow that product is always the answer. That's not planning. That's a product looking for a buyer. And the client almost never finds out. They walk in trusting the person in the chair. They walk out with something that pays the person well, and they live with the result, usually never knowing there was a better road. I couldn't unsee that. Once you see it, you can't pretend you didn't. So the question became, what would it look like to do this the other way? That's the backdrop. Now the two stories. The first one is about my wife's grandmother. She sat down with an advisor years ago. She wanted one thing, and it's the same thing most people want at that stage of life. She wanted to leave something behind for her kids and her grandkids, a real legacy. She got sold the product that paid the advisor the most, not the option that would have left her more comfortable while she was living, and not the option that would have left more behind for the people she was doing it all for. The highest commission choice presented as the answer. And here's the part that stays with me and eats at me. She never knew. She trusted him completely. She went to her grave believing she'd been taken care of. That's a quiet version of harm in my industry. It's not dramatic. Nobody yells. The client just ends up with less. And they never find out why, or that it could have been different. When I sat with that, I realized I wasn't angry at one advisor. I was bothered by a whole system that makes that the normal outcome. That's the heart of why this firm has a rule that never bends. In my office, what pays me and what's right for you are not allowed to be the same question. When they conflict, you win, even when it costs me. The second story is my own family. My parents were both business owners. My dad ran a dealership with his brother. I grew up inside it, around the lot, around the dinner table conversations, around what it actually takes to run something with your name on the door. And here's what I watched them do, which is what almost every owner does. They insure everything: the buildings, the trucks, the cars, the liability. Every physical thing the business owned was covered, except the two people the entire business depended on, them. Then my dad had a heart attack. He came back, but not all the way, and not quickly. And there was nothing built to cushion that. No disability income to bridge the months he was out. The buy sell agreement between the two of them was old, was funded with life insurance, but not disability, and the valuation hadn't been touched in years. Out of date, so it had never been pressure tested against a real event like this. Two people built that business with their hands. Neither one was protected. And it really wasn't because they were careless. Not at all. They were excellent at running the business. The problem is, nobody ever sat down with them and asked the harder questions. What happens if one of you can't come in tomorrow? Is the agreement that holds this actually together current? Nobody asked, so nobody planned, and the family absorbed the difference. That's a big part of why I left and started doing this. Somebody has to ask the question before the heart attack, not in the hospital waiting room after. So those two stories, my wife's grandmother and my dad, they point at the same gap from opposite directions. One is a family that got sold something, one is a family that got missed entirely. And both happened because nobody was looking at the whole picture and asking questions that actually matter. That's what Legacy Financial Solutions is built to do differently. Let me tell you what that looks like in practice because it's not abstract. First, I look at the whole picture before I looked at any product. Where you are now, what actually matters to you, where you're trying to go, and whether your current path gets you there. The product, if there even is one, comes last, never first. Second, I connect the dots specialists don't. Most people don't have a plan. They have a Medicare person, an income person, a life insurance person, and a CPA, and none of them have ever spoken to each other. Each piece looks fine alone. The holes live in the space between them. An income decision that quietly spikes a Medicare premium. A long term care event nobody planned for that wrecks an income plan. Connecting those is the actual job. Third, and this is the one that I hold hardest, when two options are close and one pays me more, I put people in the one that paid me less, multiple times, because of a simple test. 5 years from now, you should never be sitting across from me asking why we did it the other way. That's the whole philosophy. It's not complicated. It's just not common. I'll be straight with you about what I am and what I'm not. I'm insurance licensed. I'm licensed here in Michigan. I don't sell securities and I don't manage portfolios. That's a different conversation with a different kind of professional. What I do is the insurance and planning around it, and I do it holistically, looking at how every piece touches every other piece. If those two stories landed, if you've got a family you're trying to provide for, or a business you've insured every part of it except yourself, then you already understand why I do this. The first step is never a pitch. It's a conversation about where you actually are and where you're trying to go. If you want to see the kinds of situations that genuinely warrant a plan, so you can tell the difference between real advice and a product looking for a buyer, comment or DM story, and I'll send you the guide. No pitch attached. I'm Micah Brown with Legacy Financial Solutions in Petoskey, Michigan. Protecting today, securing tomorrow, and leaving a legacy. Thanks for watching.